AI can do a lot, but it can't do everything. It doesn't have compassion. It can't lead a team through crisis. It can't laugh with a customer, right? It can't pray with a coworker. And it certainly can't bring human wisdom to a hard decision. That's our job, right? And that's where we get to shine. Welcome to the Workforce Link podcast, where we're offering forward-thinking conversations for the workforce, linking employers and job seekers to a brighter tomorrow. I'm your host, Sundi Jo Graham with the Central Workforce Development Region, and I'm glad to be back for another episode today. So in 2023, over 300 million jobs were estimated to be impacted by generative AI. And that's according to a report by Goldman Sachs. That's a pretty big number, right? But impact doesn't always mean elimination. It often means evolution. And I want to dive deeper into that today. And by the way, I will share the link to that article in the show notes for you if you want to go read the whole thing. But if you've been tuning in for a while now, maybe watching on our YouTube channel, listening wherever you listen, however you get our content, first of all, we're grateful. But you know that we talk a lot about navigating change, personal growth, how we can improve ourselves, the work we do, all the things, right? Today, we're going to zoom out a bit and we're going to tackle a topic that is redefining the future for all of us. That is AI automation, and how that is shaping the workplace for us. It's a big conversation happening across boardrooms, coffee shops, late night chats, wherever, right? It's constantly being talked about. And while some of us are wondering if robots are going to take all of the jobs, other people are asking, how can this help me work better? And that's exactly what we're going to talk about in today's episode. What does the future of work look like for us? How will technology transform job roles? And most importantly, how can we, as employees and employers, stay ahead of this rapid change? Now, I know this topic can feel a little bit overwhelming. We're going to break it down together. So it's not about fear today, okay, right? It's about opportunity. I want to say that again. It's not about fear. It's about opportunity, okay? So before we dive in, I do want to ask you a quick favor. If you are enjoying the podcast, please like and share and save and all the things. This helps us stay visible. We can't do this without you, right? Now, whether you're stuck in traffic, you're chasing toddlers, or you're just enjoying 5 minutes of peace, welcome to the party. Let's do this. Let's dive into today's episode. Okay, so let's start with the facts. So again, I shared this already in the beginning of this episode, but in March 2023, Goldman Sachs released a report estimating that generative AI could impact 300 million full-time jobs globally. Now that number sounds huge, right? But impact doesn't necessarily mean elimination, right? It can also mean evolution. And automation is not a new word, and it's not something new for us. Let's use ATMs as an example. When they were introduced, everybody thought bank tellers were going to lose their jobs, right? They were going to become extinct. But instead of disappearing, their jobs shifted, right? They began focusing more on customer service and financial consulting. So they didn't disappear, they just shifted. And today you can see automation and AI in everyday life. For instance, here's an example, self-checkouts at the grocery store, which, side note, by the way, in my opinion, they are so dumb, right? They never work, and you still always need a human to help you. But again, that's my personal opinion. But we see it in everyday life, right? Self-checkouts, chatbots helping with customer service, apps that summarize reports. And then, of course, you've probably heard this tool by now, tools like ChatGPT that can draft content for you, they can write code for you, all the things. Also, there was a report by the World Economic Forum that predicted that AI will create, ready for this? AI will create 97 million new roles globally by 2025. Here's the crazy thing. That report was written in 2020, and they estimated 97 million new roles were going to be created globally by 2025. And I think they were pretty right on. We're watching that come into play today. And again, I'll share that article in the show notes for you. But here's the big takeaway, I think, from this. AI is not replacing humans, okay? It's replacing tasks. AI is not replacing humans, it's replacing tasks, okay? That is a critical distinction because where there's disruption, right? We have to look at it like this. Where there's disruption, there's also opportunity, right? Okay, so what does this mean for employees? What does this mean for us? What What do we do with this as job seekers, as people trying to build a future? Well, I want to ask you a tough question first that I once was asked from a mentor. Are you experienced or are you adaptable? Are you experienced or are you adaptable? Here's why that's a really great question. Because experience is valuable, right? But in this new world that we're looking at, this new world of work, adaptability is absolutely essential, because the systems and the tools that we use today, guess what? They're going to keep evolving. And our ability to keep up with that change is what is going to make us future proof. We have to be able to keep up with that change. A study by McKinsey and Company found that workers will spend 50% more time using tech skills by the year 2030, which, first of all, can I just wrap my head around the fact that I just said the year 2030? Like, this is a complete side note, but I was talking to a friend the other day and we were talking about like the late 80s and the early 90s. And I was like, yeah, that was only like 20 years ago. Wrong. It wasn't, which is weird because I'm only 21. But anyway, side note, just trying to wrap my head around the fact that the year 2030 is like right around the corner. Anyway, where was I going with that? Oh, yeah. Workers will spend 50% more time using tech skills by 2030, while demand for basic cognitive and manual skills is going to drop. Again, I'm going to share the notes to all of these articles that I shared today. I will share them I'll share the links in the show notes for you if you want to go read them. So, knowing that, how can we stay ahead? Here's a few simple steps for us. Number one, get curious. Go sign up for that AI webinar. Stop being afraid of it. Go sign up for it. Try out tools like Grammarly or Chat GPT. I use both of those tools for very different things, but Grammarly helps me catch mistakes when I'm writing a podcast episode, right? Maybe after my fourth cup of coffee, right? Chat GPT helps me brainstorm content when I hit a creative wall, or I don't know the next step to take, or I'm trying to brainstorm podcast ideas, right? Podcast episodes. They're tools, okay? They're smart, but they're not replacing and I can only speak for myself right here, they're not replacing what I bring to the table as a communications coordinator, okay? Not yet anyway. Although my boss might change her mind after she hears this episode, so let's just keep this between me and you. But seriously, they're tools, right? They're not replacing us, they're tools. So what do I mean by that? AI can make things faster, right? It can help outline a blog post or summarize a document, or it can draft a rough email, but it doesn't know our audience like I do, right? It doesn't understand the tone that we use or the heart behind our mission. It can't walk into a boardroom or a meeting room and read the room, right? It can't collaborate on a strategy with empathy, right? It's a robot, doesn't have empathy. And that's where we come in. The human touch still matters. And I personally think the more we get into this, the more we get into AI, the human touch is going to matter even more, because people are craving it and people can see through what is AI and what isn't. Here's a great example. How many Facebook posts are you seeing every day that have these little emojis in them and that have all that you can tell, they were written by AI? And I'm not saying that's wrong in any way. I'm just saying you can tell, right? I'm a songwriter. And so I can tell quickly who is just going in and using Chat GPT to write some lyrics and who isn't, because you can still see the human factor, right? People are still craving the human factor, our instincts, our wisdom, our creativity. It's not wrong that AI is our co-pilot, right? That's not wrong. But we are still the ones flying the plane as of right now. I can only speak for myself. I'm never getting into a self-driving car, and I'm not going to get into a self-driving plane either. We're still flying the plane, right? Human interaction still matters. The human factor still matters. Are you ready for the future of work? We are. AI and automation aren't just buzzwords. They're changing how we work, what jobs look like, and how we prepare for what's next. At the Central Workforce Development Region, we're helping job seekers stay ahead of change through in-demand skills training in fields like IT, healthcare, and advanced manufacturing, certifications that boost your resume, and hands-on support from local job centers to guide your career transition. So don't wait for the future to arrive. Start building it today. Visit cwdregion.com/training services to explore programs near you, and I will share the link in the show notes. All right, so number 2, get trained. Go visit your local job center. We offer training in high demand fields like IT, healthcare, advanced manufacturing. Those are areas where humans and machines collaborate, not just compete. They collaborate. I'm going to say that again. Collaborate, not compete. Okay. Number 3, grow your soft skills. Now, this is where we shine. Okay. Because technical knowledge is important. But in a world where AI is getting better at doing repetitive tasks and crunching numbers, soft skills are quickly becoming your superpower. And I have a free gift for you. It's a PDF on growing your soft skills. If you're interested, I'll share the link to that in the show notes for you. But let's break that down for a second. Growing our soft skills. Um, let's talk about critical thinking. So, what is that? Critical thinking is like being able to analyze a problem, right? From all different angles, to be able to ask better questions, to make sound decisions. Well, AI can process data, but it doesn't always know necessarily why something matters, right? It can't weigh ethical considerations or understand unintended consequences, right? And then there's empathy. Empathy is one of the most powerful tools in the workplace. So whether you're leading a team, whether you're serving customers, whether you're trying to navigate a disagreement between customers or employees, whatever, the ability to put yourself in somebody else's shoes can make or break a conversation. Well, AI doesn't have feelings, right? AI is not going to do that. It can simulate responses, but AI doesn't care, right? At the end of the day, AI is a robot. Kind of. I mean, really, it doesn't care, right? Empathy is important, and only we have that, not a robot. Creativity. Let's talk about that. What does that do? It fuels innovation, right? So maybe you're writing a jingle. Maybe you're trying to design a new email workflow. Maybe you're trying to solve a customer's problem in a way that nobody else has thought of. Creativity keeps organizations going. It keeps organizations alive and thriving, right? And AI can remix what already exists, but you and we bring original thought, right? We bring original thought and a fresh perspective. So there was this study from LinkedIn a few years ago, and it named creativity the number one most in-demand soft skill across industries. It wasn't Excel, it was creativity. It wasn't Python, it was creativity. Because in a world where automation handles the how, right? Us humans get to focus on the why. So when you're feeling overwhelmed by something new in the techie world, or you're feeling underqualified for future roles, remind yourself of this. Just stop, step back, take a breath, and remind yourself of this. Machines might be efficient, but people are effective. I'm going to say that again. Machines might be efficient, but people are effective. That's you, that's me, right? So the way that you communicate and lead and empathize and think through problems, that's what's going to set you apart. No algorithm can replace that. You got to have soft skills. Okay. And again, our Central Region Job Centers offer training programs and certifications for anybody that's looking to enter or grow in tech forward careers. So we would love to help you with that. And I want to challenge you with this. I want you to walk away from this with a question. What's one thing that you can do this week to grow your adaptability? What's one thing you can do this week to grow your adaptability? And so we've talked about what employees can do. Now I want to turn the lens real quick to employers, to team leaders, to business owners. So what's your role in preparing for the workforce for the changes that AI and automation are bringing? Because again, they're coming whether you like it or not, right? And here's the good news, you don't have to start from scratch. So across the country, including right here in central Missouri, many manufacturing companies are tackling this head on. They're building cross-generational mentorship programs. The Manufacturing Institute and AARP have found that more than 60% of manufacturers have implemented programs that pair long-time employees with younger team members. Guess what? The goal with that is two-way learning, right? So seasoned workers are passing on institutional knowledge, things that aren't necessarily written in a manual, right? And at the same time, younger workers help introduce digital tools and new technologies that may be unfamiliar to their older counterparts. So that's a win-win for everyone, right? There's deeper engagement, there's better innovation, and there's a smoother transition in the tech world for everyone. So everybody wins, right? So if you're asking that question, how do I future-proof my workforce? If you're not asking yourself this question, that's your first step. You've got to be asking yourself that question. 3 things to consider. Number 1, invest in upskilling, not just hiring. Invest in upskilling, not just hiring. So according to LinkedIn's 2023 Workplace Learning Report, nearly 9 out of 10 organizations say that helping employees grow their skills is key to navigating future challenges. So instead of hiring new talent every time a tech skill is needed, what if you empowered your team, the team you already have, to grow into those roles? So invest in upskilling, not just hiring. Number 2, encourage experimentation. Give your team permission to try out new tools, even if mistakes come with trying those out, right? Because innovation thrives in a safe environment where curiosity is welcomed. You have to welcome curiosity into your team. Number 3, lead from the front. So if you're asking your team members, if you're asking your employees to adapt to AI, well, guess what? You got to be willing to do the same. You've got to adapt. So go read an article, attend a training, ask your staff what they're learning, and don't be afraid to ask your staff to teach you what they know. That doesn't make you a bad leader. That makes you a great leader because you're willing to grow and adapt and learn, right? And when they see you taking these steps, guess what? It sets the tone for everybody else. And it's really, really important to create a culture where people are not afraid of change, but they're excited to grow with it. As AI and automation reshape the workplace, employers need skilled, adaptable teams more than ever. That's where the Central Workforce Development Region comes in. Funded on-the-job training to help you upskill your team, customize hiring solutions to match your workforce needs, support for cross-generational training, and digital adoption. So whether you're expanding, hiring, or preparing for change, we're here to help your business grow. Learn more at cwdregion.com/employer services, and I'll share the link in the show notes for you. All right, so let's talk again about the human factor. I mentioned it just a little bit earlier, but I want to dive into it just a little bit deeper. This is the part that we can't forget, right? AI can do a lot, but it can't do everything. AI can do a lot, but it can't do everything. It doesn't have compassion. It can't lead a team through crisis. It can't laugh with a customer, right? Can't pray with a coworker. And it certainly can't bring human wisdom to a hard decision. That's our job, right? And that's where we get to shine. As author Simon Sinek said, the goal is not to be perfect by the end. The goal is to be better tomorrow. So what if we viewed AI and automation not as a threat, but as a way to remove the busy work so that we can focus more on the meaningful work? Because in the end, the future of work is not just about robots. It's not just about algorithms, right? It's about people. Like, we're all still here. We're still people. It's about us. So what is next for us? I know this topic can feel overwhelming, but here is the truth, okay? You're not behind. The future of work still being written, gonna always still be gonna always, how do I say that? It's gonna always be still being written. I have no idea what I just said. Anyway, here's the moral of the story. The future of work is never ending. I think I need more coffee. We're part of the story though, right? So if today's episode resonated with you at all, I would love to hear your thoughts. What excites you? What worries you? Like, let's talk about it. I'd love to hear it. Reach out, leave a comment on our socials, shoot me an email. I'd love to know. And whether you're looking for a career change or you're an employer who needs some help finding your next great team member, the Central Region, we're here to help you. You can visit cwdregion.com. You can learn more about all of the services that we have to offer. We would love to help you. And hey, do me a favor. If you found value in this episode, please take a second to like, share, save the podcast. It helps more people find this content and it helps us keep these conversations going. So keep growing and remember that the future is not something to fear. It's something that we get to help shape. That should be exciting, right? Have a great week, my friends, and we will meet again in the next episode. Until then, remember this: there's always a brighter tomorrow if you're willing to find it.
The Central Region Workforce Development Board Incorporated and COPIC are equal opportunity employers and programs. Auxiliary aids and services are available upon request to individuals with disabilities. Missouri Relay Services at 711.